On September 16th, Russian President Vladimir Putin signed a decree on the expansion of the armed forces of Russian Federation. The official number 180,000 people. More people. That's how much are needed in the meat grinder. It's none other than another mobilization, the third one. What does it mean for Ukraine, Russia, and Europe? Let's try to find out. Howdy, howdy, friends. This is Inside Russia. My name is Konstantin. Welcome to the channel where usual Russia is explained by the unusual Russian. As usual, you will not find any BS, propaganda, or lies here. You will find only truth, common sense, and logic, and some emotions too, because I'm a still human being. Well, you will find a thing or two about new mobilization happening in Russia. Now, first things first, let's find out what happened yesterday. Vladimir Putin signed a presidential decree on the expansion of the armed forces. The document was published on the official state website in the section of legal documents, so it's official. According to the decree, the Russian armed forces will be increased to 2,389,130 people, full-time servicemen. That includes 1,500,000 of military personnel, direct military personnel. The decree comes into force in December of 2024, just around the corner. In the previous similar decrees, the last one was signed by Putin in December of 2023, the number of the servicemen increased to 2,209,130 people. And out of them, they were 1,329,000 direct military personnel. Thus, Putin increased the number of full-time active servicemen by 180,000 people. The increase by 180,000 people. Well, I don't know how about you, but I call this mobilization. And some propaganda people in Russia may not agree with me, and, I don't really care. That is, in my eyes, that is mobilization. Partial, not full scale, but mass, permanent mobilization. Why permanent? Because the first mobilization that happened in September of 2022, those who were mobilized there and thrown to the front lines, they are still at the front lines, dead or alive. It's going to be 2 years in a few days, and they're still there. So that's why I'm calling it permanent mobilization. And I'm sure that the following mobilizations, one or perhaps many, perhaps a few, they also will be permanent until the war is over. And again, I don't care how Russian propaganda is calling it, I call it demobilization. For comparison, the number of the US Army currently stands at 2.1 million people, of who about 1.3 million are direct military personnel. The armies of both countries are comparable in the number of people right now. Not comparable in the strength, of course, but comparable in the numbers. Now, to many, this mobilization wasn't expected. Mostly the officials, at least that's what they are claiming. But to the most of us, it actually wasn't unexpected. There had been rumors for months now, and I talked about it on the channel and the live streams, and there's so many people ask me this question. Konstantin, when do you think will be another mobilization? Do you think if the new mobilization will be announced? So a lot of us were thinking about that. But again, some highest officials in the Kremlin, they didn't know anything about it, and they came, well, they must have received this news with a complete shock. Folks, just look at what Dmitry Peskov said mere 12 days ago.
Обсуждений таких не ведется.
Ну и она не нужна, да?
There are no discussions about this new mobilization, and it's not needed. There's a great number of people who want to sign up, to sign military contracts with the Ministry of Defense, and the number of people is increasing. You can see the increasing economic stimulus for such people we've given. So I haven't heard of any discussions about the mobilization. No, I haven't heard any. No, I haven't heard any. I haven't heard any discussions about this mobilization. There's the press secretary of Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, the guy who knows everything about everything, usually. And 12 days ago, he did not hear anything about this new mobilization. Here we go again. In September of 2022, a few days before the big mobilization, the very same Dmitry Peskov said openly, officially, made a statement that there would be no mobilization. No need for that existed in early September of 2022. And a few days later, the mobilization was announced. The mobilization in September of 2024. Russian history is repeating itself. The very same Dmitry Peskov tells everyone openly again, he makes a statement, he's asked by a reporter about the mobilization, and he says no one is talking about the new mobilization. It's simply not needed. And 12 days after, Putin orders to get 180,000 more men. The mobilization was very much needed after all. And this is how the Kremlin reacted on this news. But then besides Kremlin, there are also other Russian politicians. For example, Russian parliament. This is how some of the top senators in the Russian parliament reacted to this new presidential decree. For example, Andrei Kartapolov. Oh, you have heard his name many times. He's a big senator, very important, very public. He is the chairman of the Russian parliament's Commission on Defense, basically in charge of the defense of the entire country. He's, pretty close to the Minister of Defense. So, of course, he commented this decree. He noted that this expansion of the army will allow Russia to respond faster and more effectively to the increasing threats from former foreign partners. As an example, he cited Finland, which, fearing for its safety after Russian attack on Ukraine, joined NATO. And I must add from myself that Finland had all the reasons to worry in, fearing Russia after Russia attacked one of the neighbors for nothing. I quote Kartapolov, "We have a plan for further development of the armed forces. This plan provides for a phased increase in the number of servicemen based on the conditions of the current international situation and the behavior of our former foreign partners. For example, we now need to form new formations and military units to ensure the security of the northwestern direction, since Finland, with which we border, has joined the NATO bloc. And in order to lead this process, an increase in number is precisely required. I unquote. So, this heavyweight Russian senator in charge of country's defense just told us that these new men will not be thrown into the meat grinder and used in the front lines in Ukraine or Kursk. Instead, they will be used to build hypothetical future reserves of some military kind. Um, how else is the new mobilization covered in the Russian news? Folks, you'll be surprised. This is a huge decision for all Russian citizens. Now, just think about it. Close your eyes and think about it. 180,000 people, more people in the army. That's 180,000 fathers, sons, husbands. Hundreds of thousands of families will be affected. This decision must be very well justified and explained publicly to the voters, to the citizens. This is a life-changing decision of a huge scale. So, all the officials, including the very top one, the president, must be running around right now explaining to the voters who placed them, those officials, to their positions, okay, temporarily for a certain period of time. The president for 6 years, and others for less than that. So they must be running around explaining Russian voters why they are doing this new mobilization. Well, it's not happening. No, sir. No such luck. Nothing. Russian propaganda, well, I was going to say Russian media, but it's really not media anymore. It's propaganda. Is being quiet. This mega important decision isn't being talked about at all. If you look at the newspapers, TV channels, the propaganda media of all sorts, you will not see much. As it never happened. It's a very typical approach of Russian propaganda to serious events and issues, okay? If they're not discussing it, it means it's hugely important, which it is. Wow. I understand why the propaganda is doing it. I have learned them so well. But I just don't understand why Russians are kind of not paying attention. Because you see, it is out there. It's not like the government, Putin, the senators, they're hiding. They're making it secret and lying, saying, oh, no, Putin didn't sign anything. No, they're not doing that. They are giving this information, very little pieces here and there, but they announced it. It's on the Kremlin website, okay? It's out there for the public to see, but public is being blind. It is not seeing it. It is not discussing as if it's not a big deal. Well, before I talk to about the real reasons behind this new mobilization, let me take a pause. I'm asking you to do me a little favor. If you like this message, if you like this live stream today, please hit the like button. It helps a lot. Since I've been demonetized, Inside Russia has been demonetized, I don't have any news on the progress with the demonetization. Unfortunately, I made my last video about that, so check it out if you want to. But today I just want to thank you all who support the channel, who send me good wishes, who email, who reach me out through messengers, who buy me coffees at buymecoffee.com or become patrons or send me money directly through PayPal, which I was able to get up after so many months of struggling. So I want to thank you because you are making it happen. You're giving me motivation. You are giving me hope. You're giving me feedback that what I do is liked and found valuable. So thank you so very much. Thank you. I promise once again, no matter what, no matter monetized, demonetized, as long as I have the channel, as long as I have my voice, I will keep on telling the truth about Russia. So thank you again. So, why did this new mobilization happen? What are the real reasons behind it? Again, we weren't given any reasons except for Kartapolov saying, oh, we are doing some future expansion according to some kind of mythical, hypothetical plan, which no one has seen. But I guess everything is going well according to that plan. Now, I think that the situation is a little different from how Russian officials are describing it, and I think that there are a few reasons. And the reason number one is that most likely official numbers of the Russian armed forces that we are being given are incorrect. There is no way, there's no physical way to check it. But many military experts agree that the numbers given they vary greatly from the real numbers. For once, we have not been given for 2.5 years, have not been given the number of Russians killed. Now, to me, this is crazy. They're simply not telling of how many Russians have been killed. Russian citizens, fathers, voters, taxpayers, husbands, sons, how many? Russian public doesn't deserve to know. Even in Afghanistan, they were giving us the numbers, but not today. Number two, those who are in the armed forces now on active duty, there is a large number of those who do not fight in the front lines in Ukraine and Kursk. They are the support personnel. For example, instructors, inspectors, teachers, administrators, and so forth. Again, we cannot fact check that, but again, there's a universal opinion of many military experts, and this is based on the fact that Russian army is hugely corrupted. A position can be bought, an area of service can be bought for coin, everything can be bought, and a lot of servicemen, they simply buy good places, safe places. They just have to pay coin for that. Number three, and I think this is the most important reason, Russian armed forces are incredibly understaffed. Well, can I say that? Understaffed. There's a lack of soldiers. Okay, I'll use it. Understaffing. This understaffing increases every day due to understandable reasons. Ukrainian armed forces help to increase the understaffing every day. And I think that no one can argue with me. On top of that, we're not given the numbers of how many people were killed or injured. So if they don't give us numbers, we start thinking whatever we want to think. According to Vladimir Putin, Peskov, and other mafiosos, everything is going according to the plan, including in the army. Many, according to this man, just like Peskov said 12 days ago, many volunteers sign military contracts with the Ministry of Defense, and the number is increasing, meaning more and more Russians want to go and sign up, and more money given to them. In reality, we don't have to fact check that. We just have to think a little bit. Why do they keep increasing the bonuses, sign up bonuses? Is it because more and more people come to sign up? If the demand to sign up were so great, they would be decreasing bonuses. Instead, they increase them almost every week. Okay, it means that no one really wants to sign up anymore. Now, according to the Z reporters operating in the front lines, and I've talked about this category of people, there are plenty of those who witness what's going on, and they all are controlled by the KGB and the Russian state, the propaganda. They're part of the propaganda, but sometimes they can't hide the truth because they get angry, okay, once in a while. And every single Z reporter says that the situation is not so rosy. Well, basically, they're saying there's a catastrophe. Not enough soldiers at the front lines. Shortages, shortages, shortages. I've been hearing it for the past 9 months. And what I'm going to tell you is kind of shocking, okay? But it can be fact checked. Do you know what I heard recently? They take plane mechanics and transfer them to stormtrooper units in the front lines. I'll say it again. They take plane mechanics and make them soldiers and send them into the meat grinder. I've also heard even a much more strange news. A few pilots were also transferred to the front lines, made soldiers, and sent, well, perhaps not soldiers, but if they were officers, they were made officers, stormtroopers, and given AK-47s into their hands and sent to storm Ukrainian fortifications. Mechanics and pilots. And with mechanics, it is happening en masse. This is the craziest decision I've ever heard that in any military, okay? I don't know if any military men out there, I think you understand what I mean. Crazy, crazy, crazy. How much it takes to create a mechanic, to educate, to give them a chance to gain experience, okay? And they do send them. There are real cases. There is evidence of that. Why do they do that? Well, I think there are two reasons. First reason is they take people who misbehave, perhaps who decline missions, don't want to bomb civilians or something like that. And they punish them in that way. Or the second way, perhaps two things happen at the same time. And the second is they simply don't have enough troops and there's to storm fortifications at the front lines. And they simply are given direct orders. Find us soldiers in any way you can. And that's what they do. And the reason number 4, well, little, well, that's huge. There's fire inside Russia right now, and it's called Kursk. It keeps burning, and its size is increasing, and there are no firefighters around. Well, the area of the fire, different numbers come from different sources, from 900 square kilometers, those conservative numbers coming from the conservative experts, to 1,200 square kilometers, coming from not so conservative experts. 100 settlements under control of the Ukrainian armed forces, give or take. And there is a new breach, a new, breakthrough the border. Couple days ago, near village Visole, heavy fighting, pushing forward to village Pushkova or Pushkova. I'm not sure how they pronounce it in Russia. That's in Kursk region. It's been 6 weeks. 6 weeks since Ukrainians announced their own special military operation and rolled into the Kursk province, okay? And to me, it sounds crazy, and I think to every Russian citizen would, but in these 6 weeks, nothing's been done. Ukrainians have just been slowed down. They're not expanding in such a pace they were before, and that's it. But they're still expanding. And now, just 6 weeks later, Russian armed forces are moving large amounts of troops in, trying to move Ukrainians back, to push them back. Not very successful, but they just start doing it 6 weeks from, the moment the Ukrainians showed up in Kursk. And they're not doing a good job, okay? And now Ukrainians are applying a new tactic. It's called mobile defense. Instead of just defending area that they're holding, that's called tactical defense, okay? Instead, they penetrate border in different areas, okay, and move forward in those areas. They maneuver, and they try to get behind those Russian troops and, encircle them and destroy them. And this is a much more advanced tactic than what Russians are using. So, and it seems like Ukrainians are very successful at that. The best proof that Russian army is in such poor state is that 6 weeks after, there's no one in Kursk. Well, very little troops in Kursk. What should have been done is the entire country should have said, hey, look, what the hell is going on? Kursk is controlled by a foreign state. We gotta get it back. We gotta show everyone. Well, they didn't do that. No one has done that. The citizens don't care, obviously. And the Russian army, they simply, I would have said they don't care. They do, but they just can't do anything, okay? And this is just the proof. You can't get more proof than this, okay? They can't do anything. They are in such poor state. I can't really say that Russian army is falling apart. No, that'd be too much. But I think it's troubled with corruption, with underpayment, underfinancing, with lack of military knowledge, with lack of education, and with plenty of stupidity. That's my quick diagnosis of Russian army. So, Kursk, again, is the best evidence that everything is not well, everything is not going according to the plan with the Russian military. In the last part of today's message, let's ask ourselves a question. How will those 180,000 people will be identified and mobilized? Or called up, signed up, drafted, conscripted, I don't know. The mobilization happened in 2022 in September. The official number was over 300,000 people. 180,000 is pretty close to the previous mobilization, time and a half less. 2 years ago, it was huge. It was mass exodus. I witnessed it. I was part of it, out of Russia. It was tons of conscription office people involved, federal police looking for people, catching them. The KGB was involved. There was a big mess in the country for a month. There was no one even talked about anything else rather than mobilization. Russian men were afraid. They were hiding. That this just, I'm pretty sure you remember that time. So how are they gonna do it this time? Um, Again, I have not found anything about the plans on how they're going to mobilize. They just signed a decree saying the army must expand by 180,000 people starting December 2024, December 1st. Folks, I am pretty sure that there will be the very similar mobilization that happened 2 years ago, only a smarter, more advanced, a digital one. Because I've been covering over these 2 years how Russian state was building up its mobilization system, conscription system. It was in absolute ruins, understaffed, underdeveloped, um, under computerized back in 2022, and it's a big difference now. Okay, the KGB is in charge of this new system. It's called Unified Mobilization Database. It counts all Russian men in the country. It counts those who are um, the subject of mobilization, perhaps future possible mobilizations. It counts those in reserve quite well, and there are new laws exist. And again, I'll refresh your memory, but I've talked about them before. It's not news. Now, if they want to mobilize you, they don't have to knock on your door. They don't have to send people. They don't have to track you down, hunt you down, and catch you. No, they simply use one database and they put a red flag right next to your name. And in 7 days, your driver's license suspended, your bank accounts closed. You cannot buy or sell property. You cannot make any operation if your own business. Um, you basically become outlawed. And most important thing is you cannot run. 3 million people ran. And, they somehow went through the border. Now, as soon as they put up the red flag right next to your name in that database, you are not allowed to leave Russia in any way. And that is huge deal. They don't have to hunt people down. They simply have these people turn into the mobilization offices to sort things out. Once they show up, they will be served papers and taken right on the spots. This will happen. It is coming. It's going to be happening extensively. And it has started already. It has started now. Well, will it help Russia? No, I don't think so. The number of people increases, but it doesn't mean that Russian army will be more technological, smarter, wiser, better equipped. No. These people, they're fresh cannon fodder. They're not military people. They're just novices. They will be given AK-47s. Probably they will be given a week or two of basic training and thrown to Ukraine into the stormtrooping battalions. They are increasing the army for one reason. They simply don't have people. Those who fought, they most likely were killed already. They're missing physical people there. And they're going to get more, but the result will be the same. If the Ukrainians manage to kill hundreds of thousands already, they will continue doing so. So What is Putin doing? Buying himself time? Perhaps, but what is the price? 180,000 more souls? And honestly, I don't think he'll buy much time with them. What does it mean for Ukraine? Not much. I don't think Russian army will all of a sudden become much more powerful with 180,000 more new people. No, everything is going to be fairly the same. The strength of Ukrainian army comes from the West. The West's got to support with ammo, with tanks, with planes, and so forth. As long as it happens, keep on happening, then Ukraine should be fine. And what does it mean for Europe and the United States and the rest of the world? It just shows once more the face, real face, the true face of Putin's regime, of Vladimir Putin himself, his officials. Um, they're not humans. They're not acting like ones. So basically, this is what I think. I said it again, and I will keep on saying it again. The victory for Ukraine will not come from the front lines. It will come from inside Russia, and we are seeing it happening. This has been my message. Thank you so much for giving me a chance today. I invite everyone to carry on into live stream chat. Just give me a second. I will turn it on. Again, I'd like to ask you to hit the like button if you like today's message. Still demonetized, and the worst thing is I'm being demoted now. Means YouTube shows my messages to fewer and fewer people. So if you like and comment, if you have nothing to say, just drop me a few lines of encouragement. Tell me that you like the job I'm doing and things like that. So that'd be fantastic. Thank you so very much. Let me turn on live stream chat. There you go. It's on. If you're not seeing it, please press refresh button, just like I did. And I see Harry Potter, Lorna, Mommy, Dirk. Friends, if you're here for the first time, I want you to know that Inside Russia is the best community, the best on YouTube, and people who have helped to build this community are the moderation team. The moderators, they are Lorna, Mommy K, Bob S, Harry Potnin, Amir Fazat, and Dirk. Thank you, friends. Thank you for helping to create this community what it is. Thank you so much. The usual suspects, fantastic to see you. And again, if you want me to notice your message easier and faster, please put it in all caps and put Inside Russia after that sign so I can see it highlighted in orange. That helps a lot. Just like Harry Potter did, and leitmotif for me from Maryland, the USA. Everyone, good to see you. Bakerstock, Koshkin Dom, Sheerleaf. There's a question from Werner Heiko. Is there a number of casualties that could create serious trouble in the eastern parts of Russia? Oi, very serious. Look, you have great questions. This is not the first one. I remember the other ones too. When they announced mobilization and when the rumors about casualties, tons of coffins coming back from the front line started, spreading throughout Russia, I thought that was the tipping point. I thought that was the straw that was gonna break camel's back. Was I wrong or what? I witnessed in Russian small towns and villages, people brought their own sons in cars, families brought, and they were crying. They were very upset, but they were giving their sons with their own hands to the conscription office people. Cops were there, officers were there. There was no violence, no one was getting arrested or brought in by force. No, they were parents, families were bringing their kids and sending them to the offices to Ukraine, to the front lines. After I saw that, I don't believe that there will be anything in Russia that will create serious trouble in the eastern parts of the country or any parts. Look at what's happening now. What makes you think that it's not enough? Hundreds of thousands have been killed. Hundreds of thousands. This is the worst since World War II. There was no conflict before Putin invaded Ukraine. There was no threats to Russia. Ukraine was living normal, peaceful life, and all of a sudden, one bad guy decided to use force to conquer the country. Okay, and now, just on the Russian side, hundreds of thousands have been killed. Ukrainian side, I am scared to think how many civilians have been killed. For what? Okay. And Russians there keep on living as if nothing is happening, as if it does not concern them. 146 million Russians in Russia. What, a few 100,000 men were killed, so a couple million families have been affected, and the rest just keep on living. So I don't see a number of casualties. Any kind number of casualties could create serious trouble inside Russia. Koala with Beanie, thank you so much for the good words. SVR from Switzerland, howdy friend. Thank you for coming. Pamela, Tom W, Ree, Kamisanti, Sam K, Mike, thank you friends for coming. Brian Z, Pete D Music, thank you so much. Daniel McInnes, good to see you, friend. Thank you we missed you a lot. Christoph from Belgium, thank you. Mladlen Ivan Zlatar, thank you so much for coming. Again, it's been a long time, missed you. Ogi One, thank you so much. Angela McNaught, Asa Sweden, hello, hello. PL Demery Gray, good to see you, long time no see, Bino. The USA is in the house. Mr. Kaliskian, the pillar of Inside Russia, Ryan L. Do you think Putin has an escape plan? Maybe somewhere abroad? We have discussed it many times. Now, let's imagine a situation. Where, in the first place, where can he go to? Venezuela, China. Well, no, China not. Why would China host him? Venezuela, North Korea, and probably countries in Africa with no law whatsoever, with like uprisings and gangs and stuff like that. Let's say he goes to Venezuela to live with his buddy, Hugo Chavez, okay? So let's say Putin takes his entourage and a couple planes of gold and 5 planes land in Caracas. He's welcomed by Hugo Chavez. And, Hugo Chavez kisses him and hugs him, says, "Dear friend, I have prepared a palace for you." And then there's a palace, and Putin takes everything and everyone inside that palace. And it's huge, and it's beautiful, and it's wonderful. And Hugo Chavez says, "You know what? You're such a very important person. I need to protect you well." And he places 5,000 troops around that palace. But guess what? The first thing Hugo Chavez would do, he would jump on the plane and fly directly to Washington, D.C. He would say, "Hey, this is Hugo, your friend. Let me in into the U.S. airspace. I have a present for you. You're not gonna believe." And they will let him into the U.S. airspace despite all this rift between Venezuela and the USA. And he will then says, "What are you gonna give me for Putin?" Yeah, it's like, "What do you want?" "I want to move to California. Yeah, I want to take some money with me, and you give me some protection, and I'm gonna be living for the rest of my life there." They're like, "Done deal," and that's it. And Putin gets to court in the United States or the Hague. So same thing would happen in North Korea and anywhere he goes to. So I don't think there is an escape plan to anywhere for him. He's cornered. He's like bleeding beast, he's nowhere to run. If you know an escape plan, a possible, let me know. Okay, I'd be interested to hear what you have to say. George Rames, howdy. Friends, thank you for joining. 600 people in the live stream chat. This is a very good number. Charles Dominic Constantine. I like that. Someone when I was kid used to call me Constantine. Your reports on the insane war is essential to my understanding. Keep it up. Thank you so much. You have my word, I will. Donna. John Lawless. Thank you so much. From Ireland. Keith Alipes. Okay. Dominica. Urgent question. If mobilized, what options? Avoid draft, legal risk, or deploy and seek surrender? Need advice. Thank you. That's a very personal question. Everyone decides for himself. I would avoid mobilization at any cost. Okay. Once you get mobilized, there's not too many options. Once you're inside, you can definitely give up, not give up, reject mobilization. And then the punishment for that was just a fine, a few thousand rubles. Now they made it a crime, and most likely you go to prison, but you will not last it. They'll kill you there because there's no law in the Russian army right now. From the reports, what we are hearing, there were two semi-colonels made a video saying, "Hey, we have been fighting since 2014. We're like the legends. We fly drones. We have created the entire drone department of the Russian army. And now we're talking about our battalion. Our commander is trading, like selling drugs and taking kickbacks, and we are, busting him for that. And he's sending us to the stormtrooper unit where they're going to kill us. So we're letting you know that what's happening." And of course, a few days later, they were killed. And now the Minister of Defense himself is some kind of like controlling the investigation of this case. This kind of things happen in the Russian army, left and right. So once you get in, I don't even know what to suggest. Just Terry, I heard there is 30,000 Russians in Kursk. Well, Terry, I have different numbers. Over a million people in Kursk, Russian people. That's very densely populated. Well, not very densely, but it's populated Russian province. The city of Kursk itself, a few 100,000 people, and 250,000 people have fled so far. I'm not sure what you're talking about. There are many more than 30,000 Russians in Kursk. Creed Sealot, do you really think it'll only be 180,000 people? I think it'll be more. Most likely it will be more, just like in the first mobilization it was officially 320. Unofficially, there are different rumors. Up to 1 million people were mobilized. But you know what? I cannot tell you that because I don't know. It's just rumors. It's just my thoughts. I think that there will be more than 180,000. But again, that you can't fact check that. You can't prove me right or wrong. Just rumors. Nigel, do you think they will mobilize 50 and 60-year-olds? They will. They have been. My relative, 62 years old, was mobilized 2 years ago. They didn't send him to the front lines because once he showed up there, everyone felt so sorry for him. They put him away from the front lines. He was in the kitchen or something like that. But 62 years old. There have been numerous cases of 50-somethings serving in the Russian armed forces. I've showed here in this live streams pictures of old men standing like 50s, close to 60, standing in large units made out of them. Sam the Legend K, thank you so much. Lucky Lumi, I like your message. Could rename your name Last Human from Russia, if you catch my drift. I am not Last Human from Russia. There are humans in Russia left, quite a few of them. I think millions. Many don't have voices, most don't have voices. A lot are so afraid to speak up. I'm not the only one. I know good men there. Good women too. Boise Solom from Houston, Texas. Thank you so much. I heard that Texas is biggest and the best. Huh? Everything is bigger and better in Texas. Kalina Marinova. Greetings. Could comment on the introduction of mandatory military service in Serbia and the possibility that transfers from Serbia can be deployed in Ukraine. I'm sorry, I don't know anything about mandatory military service in Serbia. I will check though, and I might mention, if I find anything, I might mention tomorrow in the World News Update. Please come and check it out. I know that there's a Serbian battalion fighting in Russia, well, in Ukraine on the Russian side. And I think that there's some kind of fishy story there because those people were lured in by lies and they wanted to quit and go back to Serbia, but they were not allowed to do that by Russians. Okay, so they were being kind of held hostages and they were treated really, really badly. Serbia is great small country, and Serbians feel that Russians are their brothers and sisters, but that's not what the Russians feel towards Serbians, unfortunately. Tom Colton, howdy. Good to know that you're there. There's a comment from Sherleaf. I'm really happy that you did this today. Thank you. There are so many Russian kids that they watch and not be fooled. Do you have a good estimate of the average cost of Russian war? 29. Recently I heard the number of 29 billion rubles per day. Just one rocket that flies to Ukraine and blows up and kills people. That's one school. They could build, for the same money they build a rocket missile, they could build a school in Russia. 2 rockets, a hospital. Sometimes I think that I'm dreaming and it's a bad dream, a nightmare. And sometimes I try to pinch myself and like, wake up. This cannot be happening. Okay, you're caught in a freakish nightmare. And I don't wake up. It's happening. It's just Insane. Can we have a repeat of 1917 this October? So definitely. Waiting for it. Um, someone needs to dial Putin's pager. The best joke I've heard so far. um, Jordan Suarez, what percentage of chance do you think Russian people have to escape? Dude, if they want to escape, they can do that. There are ways. I run now. They still letting people out. Okay, it might be too late 2 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, but now they still can do that. Ask for help. There's plenty of help out there. There are plenty of people inside Russia who are helping, assisting with advice, with different kinds of means for Russians to run to Kazakhstan. You don't even need a foreign passport. You can travel with domestic passport. With everything you have right now, literally get up, buy a ticket, go to Kazakhstan. You'll settle there. You'll find a I've seen 40,000 Russian men fled just like that. You know, made decisions in hours. They were outside Russia, and we all came to Uzbekistan. We didn't know what to do. We were just trying to figure out. We were in a dark room with like no flashlight. Well, we still alive. We still breathe. We still live. Okay, unlike those who stayed, and many are dead in Ukraine. So if there is a will, there is a way. Ask me. Gosh, ask anyone. There are plenty of people out there. I've helped, I don't know, must be a dozen of people. One guy, not just with the money, but with advice, with, giving contacts, with um, setting their sights into the right direction. And I've reached out and I've asked I've offered my help to like quite a few more, and quite a few actually refused and stayed in Russia. That's 2 years ago. Pete D Music, how can we in the West help normal Ukrainian and Russians come together after this horrible invasion is over? Well, friend, I've been helping. Well, that's a question, and then I started asking myself in December of 2022, because I have helped. I helped Russians, and I got a community going, but I felt it wasn't enough, and I simply started reaching out to Ukrainians and inviting to come and have breakfast with us, break bread with us, hear us out, give us a chance to say that we are sorry, please forgive us. And Ukrainians started coming. Not too many, but we've had quite a few families from Ukraine. I attended the Ukrainian club in Uzbekistan. We maintain close connections to quite a few people. I do not have universal answer to that. I know what I do, and the best I can do, is I get up, I reach out to the Ukrainians. I even stopped a couple people on the streets of Tashkent, and I simply introduced myself and I said, please forgive us, and I would like to invite you to the breakfast club, and this is what we do. And I don't know any other way. If you know, please let me know. But I just reach out to people and I tell them how I feel, how we feel, and I invite them to meet. And it takes us from there. CSD Global, do you think your broadcasts are seen in Russia mainstream community? No, not anymore. They are because YouTube has been banned in Russia. My mom is visiting right now, and this is the first time in 3 weeks she's been able to watch YouTube. In Russia, she can't. They're really doing a good job on slowing it down. Well, I'll do a separate stream on that. So no, most Russians do not watch me anymore. Neymar, Russia is a big country. I think people in the east don't care what's happening in faraway Kursk. Well, I don't know what to tell you. Well, good luck to them then. Good luck, all the best. The next morning, just another day, they're gonna wake up and there's gonna be Chinese everywhere. Then they will care. Johnny Taylor, how does the suspension of driver's license and bank account happen immediately on call up, or only if person doesn't go to mobilization office? They don't even have to notify you. They used to have to serve you a paper повестка, paper notification, and you had to sign for it. Okay, not anymore. According to the new laws, they just put a red flag, means mobilized. Not, and then it's your responsibility to keep on checking every single day if you're mobilized or not. And if you don't show up, you have I have to check, either 7 or 14 days to show up in the mobilization office. And if you don't, they automatically suspend everything, ban you, shadow ban. But the thing is, it doesn't matter, because the moment that red flag goes up, the iron curtain for you goes down. You cannot leave the country. So you can be uninformed as long as you want. You're on the hook. Sooner or later, the only thing you can do is run and live in taiga, in the woods, for years and years without any human contact. Yeah, they can do that. You can do that. But is it any good? I do hope all these crazy plans will speed up the downfall. Elsha, thank you so much for coming. I hope so too. I have thoughts on that coming up in other streams. Leitmotif, do you believe the stats Ukraine states? Do you mean that, do I believe the statistics the Ukrainian government gives? No, I do not. I think it's much more accurate than Russian statistics. But still, it's really hard to believe that, because they might be giving different numbers on purpose. And I understand their reasons behind it, okay? Moreover, I don't think we will ever know. I don't think they'll be able to, figure out how many Russians have been killed. Just Terry, what will the winter bring? Terry, the winter will bring a lot of events. It's going to be very eventful, fall and winter. And we don't have to wait until winter. The events start happening. Wait until the first snow falls in a couple weeks from now. My chat is messed up, doesn't allow me to. Not even my yellow flower. Lorna, I'm seeing your yellow flower. Looks beautiful. And I'm seeing the kitty cat of Mama K. And the sky and the clouds of Harry. And I see Dirk, his face. All is wonderful here. Bentley T, thank you so much for great words. Thank you. Pinda is checking in from Italy. What a place where Solovyov cannot come anymore. So, the Solovyov, propaganda #1 personality, the beast of beasts. He used to own a huge mansion on Lake Como in Italy, northern Italy, beautiful place. And he used to be a permanent resident of Italy. He would fly to Russia to have to film a TV show. So he flew to Russia to work, and he lived in Italy. Huh? Nice. Jill, don't you think there's an unheard of for parents to bring their youngsters to the recruitment? Don't you think that it is unheard of for parents to bring their youngsters to the recruitment office? I don't understand the question. It is absolutely unheard of. That is crazy. I'm thinking of is Michael, if Michael, my son, is 18, would I bring him to the recruitment office, mobilization office? I would die protecting him. I would scrape their eyes and I would rip their throats off before they would take my son. Okay? I don't understand these people. I'm telling you, I'm from Mars. They're from Venus. They're more and more alien to me. Veronica, surely they must know they're not coming back, so the money they're getting means nothing because they won't be here to spend it. That's a big question. I think so too. You know, Mama Janela, don't give up. You'll be restored soon on YouTube. I, I hope so. Thank you. How do you know? If you know their email address, please share it so we can email them. I don't. I would have shared you with you, but I don't. And I hope it's not wishful thinking. Yes. Well, I'm sitting here waiting. That's for sure. Jack, thank you. Couple more questions and we'll wrap it up today. Ivan, thank you so much for good words. Craig Hughes, I agree, seems like the last desperate throw of the dice by Putin is like a slow death. Agree. Craig Savarese, I agree. They're gonna take more, but 180 is official. It's just we can't prove how exactly many will be recruited. Pulaski, Virginia, Terry Carter checking in. Hope all is well. Thank you so much. Leitmotiv, Ukraine claims over 600 casualties. I know, I have heard the numbers. Again, what I am confident in is the number of casualties is in hundreds of thousands of people. Russia spent 10 years in Afghanistan from 79 to 89, 500 weeks, and it lost 16,000 people there in 10 years. In Ukraine, how many Ukrainians are? Russians, okay, they went in and they're getting killed by the people who defended their land, okay? But what about the Ukrainians that were killed? Who will answer for them? Why? Why Russia came in and started killing them? They were not a threat to Russia. They're just like a neighboring country with decent people. Don't even get me started, KG1, winter will bring everything down. I agree. I don't want to be a record there, let me tell you. KG1, how has the situation affected the relatives? They're becoming more and more alien. That's how. Okay, friends, let's wrap it up for today. Let me give you a quick plan for the remaining of the week. I couldn't stream yesterday. Michael's birthday was yesterday, and then mom came, and there's just too much stuff going on. I just did not have proper time to prepare for the live stream. I So today is the mobilization. Tomorrow is world's news. Day after tomorrow, Thursday, I have not decided. There are quite a few interesting topics, and I'm still deciding on which one to talk about. Friday is the news update as usual, and Saturday, private live stream for all patrons of Inside Russia and members of Buy Me a Coffee. By the way, I give 9 daily news to patrons. I find news that important, and I add my comments and um, analysis to the news, and make available to the patrons. This is my way of thanking for the support, and I want to provide some little news that I cannot cover in live streams, but that matter. So, if you want to have access to daily news and you want to have access to the Saturday private streams for patrons, sign up, become a patron. That's not much. There are different tiers. The lowest is $3 per month, and then it goes 10, 25, 100. But you can go as low as $3. Pick for yourself. The benefits are all the same to all the tiers. So this is the plan for the week. And again, mods, thank you so much for coming in. I hope all is well with everyone. And I invite everyone to pray along with me. Let's do it. Dear Lord Jesus Christ, thank you so much for giving us this day. Thank you for putting food on our tables and giving roofs over our heads. Thank you for surrounding us with people who we love and who love us. Thank you for our families and our children. And please give us wisdom to keep the skies above our children's heads peaceful and safe. Give us wisdom to raise our children so when they grow up, they make this world a better place, and will never fight in any wars, just love each other. For now, please keep our children safe and healthy. Dear Lord, please help Ukraine, stop the bloodshed. Reach out and touch every Ukrainian's heart. Make their wishes come true. Answer their prayers, please. Have them recover from the sufferings. Reach out and touch the hearts and souls of those who are responsible for this bloodshed. Remind them that they're still human beings with love in their hearts, and have them make the decision to stop it. Please help my country, Russia. Assemble your strongest angels with sharpest swords and send them, led by Saint Michael in shining armor, send them to this earth to get rid of the demons who have hijacked my country, Russia, who we know by their names and by their faces. Please send your best angels to help good Russians to run their country, make it peaceful, loving, and respecting. Dear Lord, please help everyone who is traveling, send them safe travels. Everyone who is in high waters, send them safety. And everyone who is applying for asylum, seeking safety. So please send help their way. I'm asking for all single mothers and fathers who are raising their children and struggling to make ends meet. I'm asking for all who are helping Ukrainians. And I'm asking for Ukrainians who are currently under the risk of attacks from Russia. Please help everyone. Provide help, provide assistance, provide love. Please help all the hungry, the cold, the addicted, the sick, the homeless, the jobless, the depressed, the ones who are losing their faith, who are crying, who are not feeling well about themselves, about their lives, who are betrayed, who are hurting, who are crying, and who are feeling alone. Please reach out and touch the hearts of everyone in need. Let them know that you are right next to them. You still love them. You are still their father. You still watch every step they take. You still help them with every single move they make. Touch their hearts and souls so they feel better about themselves and about their lives. Please help everyone in need. Dear Lord, thank you so much for this community, for allowing us to get together and pray. Thank you for 4,800 people who are praying along with me or simply watching us pray. That is also good. Please help everyone who is here in this live stream right now. Answer their prayers and make their wishes come true. And I also would like to ask you for a few people who need your help. They are Millie, please send recovery. George Rames, Ann Larson and her daughter Hannah, Jeffrey S. and his family, Alex from Albuquerque, Mark Rutan, Tom W., J.R. McKim, Frank in Texas, Gabing with Gary, Lisa Cumrian, Harry Potter and his family, Terry Carter, John McLean, Lisa Trombley, Paula W., Dennis, Jason Carney, Susie Mailer, Tim Mayers, Dory, Rhonda McGillis, John, Taylor, Wayne, Dave, Don, Darla, George Ruberty, Pamela J., Meta Spencer, David Porter, Leaf, Randolph, Grace, Koshkin Don, Dean Spooner and his church, Yelena, Natasha, Michael, Jake, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Svetlana, Manus, Sergey, Liz, Ron Klotzer, Liz Dumbrell, Sandra, Mike and Mike, Petra Olson, Joseph Obaid, Melissa, and the little girl Sarah, who needs your help and recovery, and her family too. Thank you so much, dear Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you, friends. Before I sign off, I'd like to remind you that you're absolutely awesome and you rock. Don't forget that. Please come back to watch the World News Update tomorrow, and I'm about to sign off. And I would like to ask you to do the usual, to say out loud with me, as loud as you can, the following. Carthago delenda est.